How to leverage doctors. Are you an administrator of a medical facility, a physician executive, or maybe a chief medical officer of a major health plan? Are you trying to open up a controversial new department, discipline troublemakers, remove outspoken providers from the medical staff, or maybe bring in a new team of fresh young hospitalists? Are you tired of physicians not doing what you want, always whining about their rights in patient care, blah, blah, blah? Well, look no further. This is a primer on how to successfully manipulate them. First, categorize them into employed versus independent contractor, self-employed physicians. The employed ones are much easier to manage, especially if they work for you. Those guys have already chosen to be dominated by a bureaucrat and absolutely do not want trouble. They have mortgages, expensive cars, private schools for their kids, and business class flights to exotic vacations that need to be maintained, or otherwise they will face humiliation from their peers. Simply threatening the loss of their job will usually be enough. Fortunately, doctors don't believe in unions and have absolutely zero collective bargaining skills on their own, unlike those pesky nurses. The independent contractor type physician is more of a problem. Luckily, as American healthcare morphs into giant oligopoly, these docs are a dying breed and are the last remnants of a time when physicians were the actual leaders of healthcare, post-World War II to the 1980s. In the old days, most physicians were men, and just like in the drug rep world, they were easily bribed with cash and women. Those women could then churn on them, thereby getting them to do whatever you needed. Terminate a contract for some gastroenterologists? No problem. But these days, there are more female physicians than ever, and even the male ones seem to be more family-oriented, from more and more diverse ethnic backgrounds, and some are even gay. So the next thing you need to do is identify the power players. No, these are not the popular doctors that are doing a good job and that everyone loves. Look for the ones that already have big hospital and health plan contracts, and those that already have a small group of employed physicians working under them. These doctors probably already fancy themselves the Don Corleones of their little world. Well, they might be big fish in a small pond, but you are going to introduce them to the big pond. Give them any contracts possible. Wine and dine. The Sunshine Act eliminated all the drug rep type of lavishments, but a simple Beverly Hills Steakhouse dinner with a bottle of champagne goes a long way with these people. Terminate any vegans or non-drinkers pronto. Make them the chairs and medical directors of every department possible. Then you will have control. So to recap, you can extort, manipulate, leverage, or whatever you want to call it, doctors by threatening their jobs, their careers, their privileges, their standing with the medical board, and their reputations. You'll notice we didn't say anything about threatening their lives with violence. It's not that we are principally against the tactic of violence, it's just that we are not experts in it. And law enforcement these days is so advanced, they will probably catch you in the planning stage. And even the thought of prison makes it a much less enticing option. But remember, these doctors were the nerds in elementary school when people like you and I were probably the captains of the football team, class president, or other popular figures. These days, we can't bully them for their lunch money. But physical intimidation still has a small role. You can stand right in their faces, raise your voice, stare them down. Watch out for witnesses, though, and the ubiquitous hallway cameras. Even small-statured admins can do something. There once was an elderly lady admin that would sit an inch away from the target, side by side, at round-table meetings. This was not done for any seduction, but was emotionally terrorizing by just being annoying. Crowding personal space and allowed her to sit eye to eye, phone messages, and document quite often. Social media is another great way to gather evidence on these healthcare providers. If they post anything incriminating online, such as alcohol, partying, sex, illicit substances, controversial political or race-related posts, regardless of what side of an issue they are on, use it. Maybe they're an anti-Semitic person. Maybe they're an Islamophobe. If they have hobbies in the entertainment field, such as actors, musicians, writers, or dancers, use any and all of it. Defending their free speech First Amendment rights takes years and expensive lawyers. Another classic technique of leverage is data. Present data that their bed days, length of stay, patient satisfaction scores, quality indicators, RVUs, relative value units, what does it even mean? Or a host of other complicated and impossible to understand computations, preferably shown in a high quality, multicolored graphic in a PowerPoint presentation in front of the all important people. Obviously, you can fabricate the data and they would never know. But often, you can just adjust the settings slightly on your search tools until the doctors that you want in trouble are in the red. Employ a statistician or a master of public health and never allow the offending physicians access to the raw data. Perhaps the most powerful tool in all of this is the disciplinary file. Keep record of everything they ever get written up for, whether it's for not calling nurse back or smelling like alcohol, and keep it forever. It has been many a pleasantly surprised administrator that finds out during a doctor's recredentialing that years before he used profanity in the workplace or went to anger management. First offenses are expected to come with some mercy and compassion, but repeated offenses, my oh my, let them fry. Don't forget Yelp, Healthgrades, Vitals.com, and other similar customer feedback type websites. Usually, it is the disgruntled patient that goes on there. A typical full capacity primary doctor can have a roster of 5,000 happy patients, but it's that one that didn't get a free wheelchair that will post a scathing online review. For bonus points, try to get doctors to sabotage each other. If a doctor thinks another doctor in competition is making bogus accounts to Yelp them, you have struck documentation gold. Overall, remember, the trick is to imply the threats with the information that you have on them, oftentimes without actually having to officially present it, which might put you out on a legal limb. So go out there and take back healthcare from these greedy, lazy, egomaniacal physicians with the tools for leverage we have presented here. This is a work of fiction meant for entertainment purposes only. Any similarity to actual persons or events is entirely coincidental and is not intended. The writers of this piece do not condone any of the content or recommendations mentioned here.